So today we're going to focus a little bit about the function of our body. So when you're doing any type of activity, actually, you really want to understand how your body is supposed to move and what our joints are intended to do. So our body is intended to walk, climb, push, pull, squat, reach, lift, all these basic functions. If you think about being out in the wild, what would your body do, right? So taking that framework of what our body is designed to do and then applying it to some of these yoga poses, you can really start to see how some of the things that we do in yoga are really functional. Like a crescent pose, it's a nice lunge pose. And we lunge when we're climbing up a hill or climbing up a flight of stairs. And then some poses that are really not functional, not how our body is designed. So I'm going to highlight just a series of 3 poses that are basically, in essence, the same thing, just to highlight this concept. So Kristen, why don't you go ahead and circle grip your toe in a balance pose. This is a common thing that we do in yoga, to circle grip our toe and bring our leg out to the side. Okay, you can come back down. This position, we have our hip way out in, we call that abduction, horizontal abduction, where our leg is coming out parallel or perpendicular to our body, okay? Now that pose, is that functional? Like, is there any time in your life as a human being where you need to climb up a hill this way, to the side? Is there any time when you get out of bed by bringing your leg way out to the side? Or any time you go to pick up a box that your leg is way out to the side? The answer is no. So this particular position puts your hip into a very compromised position, where your hip joint can be compressed. It can actually irritate your labrum, and this is where I ended up injuring myself in yoga. It was in some pose like this on both my hips. So other ways that this shows up would be in a triangle pose. So why don't you go ahead and move into a triangle pose. In a triangle pose, you have this hip here on the bottom, which is basically way out to the side. Now, if Kristen, takes and allows her hips to come forward, that hip is a little bit more forward, not so much out to the side. But the common instruction in triangle pose is to act like there's 2 panes of glass and try to bring your body into that position. I'm not going to make you even do that. But when people rotate their hips out, it's again, that leg is way out to the side and it's your hip is in a compromised position and can get injured. So when you're in triangle, making sure that you let your hips stay downward facing at a diagonal is more safe. And then if you want to come up out of that, Kristen, so that's, one thing. Another is half moon. When you go into a half moon position, when your leg is also, go ahead and pop into half moon. So in half moon, the bottom leg, which is also now in weight bearing, and now if I'm asking her to stack her hips up on top, we're again putting that same exact motion of the hip. You can come on out of that. So what I'd like to get across here is really just, I want everyone to have the user manual for your body. I want you to understand what your body is supposed to do and how your joints are supposed to function so that you can make educated choices. I'm not saying never do a half moon, but if you know that position puts your hip into a compromised position, you're taking a risk, and you can choose to take that risk. We all do kind of risky things in life, and sometimes that's fun. And you may do that pose a million times and never get injured. But it's also important that you just know that that's a possibility, and you know that if you choose to not do that, that's one way of being cautious and taking care of your body in yoga. So I hope that this is helpful, and encourage you to reach out to me with any questions, and I look forward to continuing to sharing more information with you.